Good morning. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We were going to give you another minute to hand out senior t-shirts, but you all quieted right at 8 o'clock. Nicely done. It's my privilege to welcome Sophia with today's announcements.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, and it's a white day. A reminder that tomorrow will be a late start schedule to allow for faculty and staff professional development. Please report directly to your A block class by 9:55 a.m. If you arrive after 10 a.m., you will need to check in at the main office before going to class. Attention students, if you have a free block and would like a workout in the field house, please check in at the front desk to see if there is any availability. Free blockers should not be interfering with PE classes and must sign in. Juniors and seniors, Paul Smith's College is on campus today for a visit. Please see Naviance or Mrs. LeBounty for details and to register. Be sure to check in with your teacher before attending. The futsal tournament is scheduled for this Friday is postponed. Instead, take your futsal energy and cheer on the football team in their home semifinal game on Friday night. New futsal date to be announced soon. Start stretching now. The SAT Math Prep X Block will be meeting for the final time this semester on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. in Ms. Gould's room, Severance 25. We will be reviewing data analysis methods and statistical vocabulary. If you've never taken a stats class, this is a great opportunity to learn the basics just in time for the SATs on Saturday. Again, that's SAT Math Prep, Wednesday from 6 to 8 in Severance 25. Please enter through the door at the south end of Severance near the headmaster's house. Join the outing club as we go on our first cold weather hike of the season. We will hike in the Green Mountains around Stowe area on Sunday, November 9th. Anyone is welcome, but you must have the proper gear as up-high winter has set in. The outing club does have some gear, so see Mr. Holden for details. To sign up, see Ms. Porter in Campus Life. Happy birthday today to Raymond Ward II, Trinity Bai, Audrey Roy, Alice Sterling, Henry Call, Molly Groft, Braden Bergeron, and Jonah Comans. Happy birthday. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Sophia. This morning, it's my privilege to welcome a speaker from the Social Studies Department. Ms. Beck is a St. Johnsbury Academy alum, a graduate of the University of Vermont with a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and a minor in Writing. She teaches humanities as well as sociology and criminology, and she's also a proctor here on campus in the Green Dorm. Please give a warm welcome to Ms. Beck.
Is this working, Taylor? Is it on? Oh, now I think. All right, good morning, everyone. I don't know, did you guys notice the sophomores aren't here? That's why it's so quiet. I love my sophomores, but they are a rowdy crew. So good morning. I know I was up here not long ago for Constitution Week, so I really appreciate you hopefully taking the time to listen to me again today. So I'm here to continue our speaker series on the power of place. And when I sat down to work on this project, I kind of went down some rabbit holes that I'm going to share with you today. And it started at the White's Market. Raise your hand if you've ever been to the White's Market, either here in town or in Lyndonville. Okay, yeah, so we're all a little familiar. I feel like I'm there all the time. So I was leaving the White's Market one day. I actually was with Mr. Brown, who teaches Spanish here. And we were leaving, and I was doing what I think a lot of us are maybe feeling today. I had a little bag of groceries, and I was kind of saying, wow, all this little bag for that much money? Like, oh my goodness, things are getting so expensive. And Mr. Brown goes, yeah, it's expensive, but you know, I always think about if you live in a place where you have the right to go into a grocery store and get what you need, you live in like the top % of the world. So then I felt like a jerk for complaining about grocery prices, but then once I got over myself and got over that, I went back and was thinking, he makes such a good point, and also I don't know what right I have to have been born in a place with a grocery store for me to access and jobs for me to access to where I can go and pay for said groceries. And then it brought me back to a class I took in college. I actually started in the nursing program, which clearly didn't work out, but it was a great year. I learned so much. And one of the classes I took, we read a book about health in America and why across the country some people are really healthy and some people are not. And it was all about place, how where you live in the world can determine anything down to how long you're going to live, right? So country-wise, different countries around the world have longer or shorter life expectancies due to healthcare, clean air, clean water, food access, even down to across state borders. You have a different life expectancy with resources as well. But then I was most shocked when I was reading this book in college to learn that within a city or town, within miles, you can have such a drastic change in life expectancy. So this is New Orleans, Louisiana. You can see just within miles, you can go from 80-year average life expectancy all the way down to 55. And I was so confused by this, and I asked so many questions. And the premise of it is, depending on where you live, depends on what access you have to those things: clean air, clean water. If you live really far from a grocery store, you maybe can't get as good a produce, and that might hurt your health as well. And then after I was thinking about this while writing this talk, I realized that these maps and where you're born determine so much of your life, yet you have no control over it. We live on this rock that floats throughout space, and it's so large, yet it's actually so small, and where you're born determines so much. Where we live here, but it looks like this. We draw borders, we name countries, we have flags, we have languages, and although those things are really lovely, they create community, they create identity. I'm the first person to watch the Olympics. I love the Olympics. I love celebrating countries and people's culture and traditions. But then I went down the rabbit hole of when humans first came to Earth, there weren't borders, there weren't flags, there wasn't cross-country politics. And then I started thinking about, and I've been talking about this a lot in my humanities classes with my 9th graders when we're talking about social or political issues or topics, I keep asking them to tap into human nature. Like, okay, imagine we don't have these politics, these borders. What is the human nature side? What's the science? Humans are species that are fighting to survive every day. Yet we've globalized to have borders and countries and flags, yet our science, our biological makeup doesn't really recognize those borders. So we're in survival mode all the time, and traditionally, before all the cities and everything like that, people lived in smaller communities and tribes, so you fought to protect your tribe, which was a lot fewer people than the 8 billion we live with today. So I started thinking how I don't think our biological makeup, that survival of the fittest, that idea of doing anything you need to survive, has adapted to globalization, because we've decided as a world that we're gonna work together. You can order something from across the world, so you need to now care about the labor rights over in another country. You can travel to other countries, so you have to think about their tourism laws, their taxes. We've decided, post-industrial revolution, that we were going to continue to trade on a mass scale, yet our natural makeup hasn't truly adapted to that. And that started to make me think about, yes, I was born here, but I could have been born anywhere in the world, and that could have drastically changed my opportunity to teach, to have access to clean water, to have access to safety and security, because that's at the end of the day what every human needs. Borders don't change that. Every human needs shelter, food, water to survive, and we have a biological makeup that we do anything we can to get those things, and we haven't adapted to this globalization with all these borders and things of such. And that's why I think maybe sometimes we struggle to think about, okay, well, I'm safe here, I'm comfortable here, why am I worried about what's happening across the world? Where at the end of the day, it made me think of, my heart beats the same as anyone across the country. They have the same needs I do. They have the same potential to study political science that I did, to study writing, to teach, but maybe they just aren't allowed to tap into that potential. So I think place is really powerful, but I worry, maybe is it too powerful? Because we all have these needs, but they can't be met in every place unless we work together. And then this brought me back to this saying I use all the time when I'm feeling stressed, overwhelmed. I always say, we live on a rock, a floating rock in space. It's not that big a deal. We are so small. We are We think everything we do is so significant, so important, yet at the end of the day, we're so minuscule, we're so tiny. And I wonder if, going back, if these borders and everything is taking us away from the biggest place we share, which is Earth, the planet we have to all collectively take care of. And if we focus so much on the borders, we're losing that main message that we do share this beautiful rock together. And every human on this rock has the same needs, and those borders don't change that. So I encourage you, moving forward throughout the week, talk to people. Where are they from? What place do they come from? How has that changed who they are? What opportunities has it given them? Has it given them any hardship? I think the more we have those conversations about what is your place like, and we kind of put the borders aside for a little bit, and we just think about the beautiful rock that we share, I think our society could progress in a really wonderful way. So those were my rabbit holes. Thank you for listening to them, and yeah, have a great day.
Ms. Beck's words remind me that borders and distance certainly don't change our fundamental needs. Biologically, we're remarkably similar. We share something like 99.9% of our DNA with every other human on this planet. That shared biology means that we share the same vulnerabilities. It means that we have similar, if not the same, needs. Among other things, we all need nourishment and shelter, and we all deserve dignity. Which brings me back to something that I spoke to you about earlier in the semester, and that's food insecurity. Hunger affects a body the same way whether that person lives across the ocean or across the street. Gnawing discomfort, the same impact on health and growth. Since our biology is universal, and we understand that, we need to also understand that that access is not, and that's what Ms. Beck just touched upon. Where you're born, your zip code, your circumstances, these things should not determine whether your basic needs are met, but they often do. We're not as separate as we sometimes think, and that's true across continents. It's true right here in our own community as well. Food insecurity isn't something that happens somewhere else, as I've shared with you previously. It's happening right here. And while we can't solve every problem across the globe, through our actions, we can make local impact. As I shared with you in September, behind every request to help is a neighbor, someone whose story may be different from ours, but whose basic needs are exactly the same. The cash and food donations that we're collecting as part of our Walk for a Healthy Community are one example of how we can demonstrate the character, inquiry, and community that we talk about, one can and one coin at a time. And every single contribution matters. Whether it's a single canned good or a monetary donation, you're helping to make sure that someone in our community has those things that they need. I want to thank the advisories who have already dropped off your donations and remind others that we're still accepting donations until November 15th, and at that point, we'll take everything that we have collected over to NECA. If you haven't had the chance to drop off your donations, there's certainly still time to be a part of the effort. We're happy to take them in academic and student life in Colby Hall. If you're interested in also giving your time to NECA, please send me an email, and I'm going to introduce you to folks who are happy to get you involved in those opportunities. I've heard from a few of you about that already, and I'm happy to make you aware of those opportunities and connect you to that, because they certainly always need hands to help as well. So on behalf of our neighbors in NECA, I want to thank you, and with that, wish you a great Tuesday, faculty.